Hi guys, welcome back to the Funky Evolution Party. I'm Alice Green, and today I thought I'd cover a subject I've been wanting to do for a while, which is what I like to call baby warfare. It's like quick. Um, they're my tactics and guides to basically outsmarting your child and winning the parenting war. Now, you're possibly wondering why this woman is so militant and so military focused in her approach to life. Number one, I do believe that we're always at threat of something. I have a survival kit. It's got my bungees, I've got a fold-up shovel. I know how to get out of my house because, not being funny, if you see what's happening around the world, we had World War One, we had World War Two, we're kind of in World War Three, only we're allowed to sit at home and drink tea and all of that sort of thing. And there are a lot of parents, particularly with 2020 bombshell that went off in families. I thought that it would be really helpful for you guys to give you my military tips, because, not being funny, I lived in steel-capped army boots for 10 years. They've been around the world, they've jumped fences, they've been to parties, they've built gardens, and now they're going to be planters. So there is an evolution to everything, and what I see is that the dynamics of parenting needs a complete overhaul and a complete change and switch up, because a lot of it is opinion based and not fact based. Now, I'm going to give you guys my opinion based on my military techniques that I've collected along the way, and it's actually very, very simple. Food, fashion, humor, and music. Now, by applying these four things not only to your child but to yourself, because I'm going to give you guys a heads up. I'm a single mum of two babies under the age of 3, been through 3 lockdowns, with a crazy narcissistic other parent who thankfully does not live with me. However, he has been the most difficult part of my whole parenting process, because when I found out I was pregnant and it was completely unplanned, I was like, right, first thing, what am I going to do? I went to the Choxy and partied to Illuminati and just danced for hours. And I was like, okay, right, how are we going to tackle this one? And away I went. So it was very hardcore for me. I knew how privileged I was, number one, to actually be able to get pregnant. Number two, to be able to have the entire experience and the privilege, because being a parent is a privilege, regardless of whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4. My dad is one of 13, so my mum is one of 7. I've seen everything, absolutely everything, from the tiniest of children to when they hit 60 and they're still acting like those tiny children. And that's because the education system for parents needs a complete overhaul and a complete change, and we need to start looking at different avenues, how we can come together and use what I like, my 4 tips to win the war. So number 1, food. Okay, where is it? This is my war tactic, and I don't just use it on babies, I use it on everyone. It's raw, spelled backwards, war honey. And it's actually raw. It's got all the good stuff, all the good bacterias, all the stuff that you just pick you right back up. Now, they come in different flavors. So these guys filled from flowers are amazing. They're all raw, all different flavors. You got blueberry, strawberry, apricot, and I can guarantee you, my 2 boys, when they're having a tantrum, they have no idea why they're having a tantrum, but they know that honey, and they walk up to the cupboard and they point to the honey now, because there are certain things, chemistry-wise, that when my blood sugar levels are dropping, and I don't understand why, have a scoop of honey, or, shot of whiskey. You've been shot here, have a shot there. And looking at how we can use these 4 techniques, not just to parent and have what I like to call healthy relationships with our children, but also change what they look at as a traditional family unit. Now, not being funny, traditional families have not existed for centuries. We've small pockets of them here and there that still exist. But if you want to go back to the 1st of May, about 500 years ago, they would have been having fertility parties right now. We would have all been getting smashed and getting drunk and eating and drinking and laughing and having lots of children. And then with all those children that we did have, we would then all look after them together. Now what happens is we're all isolated in our small pockets. Now, even more with 2020 locked into your home with potentially a person that you don't even like. You used to run away to work, you used to run away here, you used to go there, and it was like, run! And you're only together for the kids, which I'm sorry, that's a load of nonsense, because it's actually healthier for children to have independent relationships with both parents who are mentally stable individually and then collectively can look after a child. So me personally, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or whether you're a single parent, it's about respecting, number one, the other parent, i.e., am I too codependent on you? Am I expecting you to do all the cooking, the cleaning, the washing, and everything? Or am I going to take on that same role as you? We're really lucky in 2020. There's things like breast pumps, so the breastfeeding thing, he can do it too. And it's about allowing both parents to have the opportunity to raise the child rather than, and I see it all the time, don't do that, oh, you can't do this with the milk. What you're instantly doing is you're putting boundaries on that other parent and their relationship with their child that needs to be individual and unique, because we are all different. And if we apply the same principles, i.e., child screaming, quick, give it what it wants, that child will be 16 and still screaming at you to get what it wants. It'll be 30, still screaming at you to get what it wants. It'll be 60, still screaming at you to get what it wants. If we looked at how we can start to break down these misconceptions in parenting, it's not only going to make the child's life easier, but it's going to make your life as a parent much, much easier. So let's move on to music, for example. When they're screaming at me, and I'm telling you, I've got 2 babies, there's been some days they get up from a nap, I can't get off the floor. It's like, whoa. And to be fair with you, if it wasn't for music, I may not have survived the last 3 years. So I do have a shut up and dance policy. When they are going a bit crazy, I have had certain songs like Jack Johnson's Upside Down saved my life so many times. And we maybe need to look at how we can overhaul the education that kids are getting, looking at the film clips that we can like show to them and ourselves. So, you know, I'm so done with kids songs, but I can sing to Adventure of a Lifetime, or I can sing to other songs. And by basically turning them into little party animals from a very young age, while they're napping, mummy is in the shed trying to get the party started, obviously. And looking at how we can start to change the education system. So rather than these stupid cartoons, Johnny, Johnny, yes, Papa, did you lie, ha, ha, ha. Please don't teach my child that it's funny to lie. These things get stuck in their subconscious mind and they manifest out. And that's where we get a lot of the resistance. Isn't just they're pushing their boundaries, because that's what they're doing. They're pushing to see. Will you snap? She snapped. Yes, we win. On a different note though, once they do see you snap, they stop. And that's really important for them to learn those boundaries. You're upsetting me now. Can you please stop? We don't need to use violence. That is completely unnecessary. I just need to look at them. And they're like, okay, we've gone too far. And I struggle a lot because my 3-year-olds have more emotional intelligence than 30-year-olds. And it baffles me how we have gotten this far in society and not looked at parenting and taken a step back and bent, okay, the beating the child up thing was a bit too much, but also just giving them what they want to shut them up. I'm sorry, that doesn't work like that. Because again, going back, They'll be 16, 30, 60. Still doing your head in. Whereas now, when they do my head in, it's like, okay, this is for you, this is one's for me. And also, rather than read them stories before they go to bed and get them excited and fill their imagination with things that could give them nightmares, I use sound and vibration. So I go 1, 2, 3. So you can imagine by the time I get to 30, they're gone. Like, from 6 weeks, they're like, why are you waking me up for food? And making sure that they have these set routines and these set patterns, not based on what someone else has told you to do, but based on your own intuition. I'm like, I'm not going to read 500 stories before you sleep. I'll count to 30 and that's it. Ta-da! And you'll notice, if anyone who knows my boys, they run like clockwork. Like, and we understand each other based on me applying those 4 principles, not only to them, but to myself. So, you know, there have been days where I'm just like, a victim of walk. And I have needed a shot of whiskey, you know, and it's okay to do that and not beat ourselves off. I do believe that cheat days are really important. Now, I do know that a lot of us come from backgrounds that are potentially, you know, AA or whatever. And again, that's not your fault entirely. That is the system and how it's conditioned you to be like that and to feed into that system. What we want to do is break that system so our children don't end up in the same system. And by applying food, fashion, humour. So when they're like, funny jokes, not jokes so much because they don't understand, but funny faces, do something fun, change the vibration. Again, when I put the music up really loud and let's dance, change the frequency a little bit, and they change with that. But when I'm freaking out, they're going to freak out. Now I get that we're really tired and it's exhausting, and at the minute I'm suffering from like, didn't even know where it came from, like incapacitating want to make you sick pain. And I've got 2 boys that I need to like basically push around and do everything for. So it's very easy to snap when you're under pressure and when you're under pain and all of those things. But again, by having a set structured routine, you know, and they know, okay, it's time for mummy's tea in the shed. And we take it from there. And the last one, because I can see that I'm running up on time, but the fashion side, everyone, doesn't matter whether you're a little tiny child and we dress up like mini me, or whether you're a teen or whether you're 30, we're all children at some point. And this whole, oh, you've got to grow up. Really? Why do we need to grow up? Because having that childlike energy within you will mean that you're always able to relate to your children, regardless of the age they're at. We're all at different stages. So my boys, I don't know who they were in a past life. They think they're too cool for me. Sunglasses and off they go. You know, fancy dress. Okay, let's do something fun. Let's put on fancy dress outfits. Why do we stop fancy dressing as we get older? Oh, that's silly and stupid and should only be left for parties. But why? Why? This idea that we individually need to grow up, I think needs to be looked at from a very different perspective. You're grown up when you understand, number one, your boundaries. So I've never had gates in this house. What's mine is up here, what's yours is here. You know, they understand that. It's like once you put those boundaries in place, people respond to boundaries. It's like the law. They put laws in and people instantly react to those laws and like, oh, I can't do that anymore. If you don't have these in place and you just let the kid do whatever it wants, you're going to have problems when it's 16 years old with wanting to do what it wants. Whereas if you make it fair, i.e., we can do this, but we're going to do this first, or we're going to do X, Y, and Z, or Why can't you do it? It's dangerous. And explaining to them every step of the way, but why? Because of this and because of that. And we like to call it the gardener's approach to parenting. So rather than just have one or two things, they've got a cupboard here and they've got toys here and toys there, and they can explore. Because children don't need to be sat down reading mathematics. They've got plenty of time for that. They need to explore their confidence, their play, what they like, and rather than force them or mold them into what you want to do, we need to understand that each individual is unique, and we need to empower children. And by staying in these relationships that no longer serve us, or feeling that we're obliged, and all of that is what forces children to get locked into themselves and feel like they're to blame for whatever reason, and nothing is their fault. And most of it isn't your fault. It's the fault of the system that has kept us locked into this pigeonholed, like, not being funny. How many parents are on antidepressants? They tried to give them to me because I suffer from PTS from a psycho. Can I do that? Have I got the ability to forget? No. Food, fashion, humor, music. Those are the 4 things that will save you and your children. Apply them to yourself and apply them to your parenting, and you will notice that you will have a lot more time on your hands and children that actually respond. So please like, share, and get the message out there.